good afternoon. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. I know it's in the afternoon, but I'm like saying good afternoon. You wanna know why? Because I'm so dope. That's right, guys. What's up, what's up, what's up? It's me, your homegirl, Ladosha Wright. That's right, the author of You Know What It Is, Curly Hair Adventures, What They Don't Tell You at the Hair Salon, and the Beauty and Barber Survival Plan. And I'm coming to you live and direct from the Reverence Design Team Hair Salon, just kind of nestled in the little tiny suburb of Cleveland Heights, Ohio. But you know, it's like, it's the hood, you know what I'm saying? It's my neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? So today, we're gonna have a wonderful, wonderful discussion. Y'all know I'm still rocking my little lunch and learn, but this lunch and learn, I'm gonna call this lunch and learn 2.0. So the reason why I want to call this Lunch and Learn 2.0 is because tomorrow we're going to have the ultimate Lunch and Learn. I'm going to be partnering with the one and only, let's grab her book right here. And we're going to grab her book. This beautiful, beautiful, beautiful young lady, her name is Ms. Diane Da Costa. You guys might be very familiar with this book, perhaps. If you are in the beauty industry and you are an aspiring natural hair expert or a textured hair maven or, you know, coily hair, you know, concoctionist, you know, wherever you are in your career as a natural hair stylist, then a lot of people are more familiar with her than they are with me because she is on the O, the N, the E. Okay, so this is the lovely Diane Da Costa. This is her book, and it's called Textured Tresses, and it is full of a plethora of information of all the various things that you can do with textured hair. But here's the caveat: responsibly. And so what we're going to be doing tomorrow is really motivating any and everybody who joins us to really, really go over, answer all of your questions about what does it take to make it in this industry as one who specializes, maybe you favor, maybe you're more interested. Maybe you don't know anything about textured hair, but you want to know more. You want to do something with textured hair. You know what I'm saying? And textured hair, it seems so confusing. So Diane and I, we're going to be on a live together, and we're going to talk about our career as successful licensed people who work with textured hair, number one. Number two, we're also going to be promoting, Diane has an initiative in New York for textured hair to be included into the education of cosmetology more than what it is. So we definitely want to, you know, join and unite with her to get more education and stop letting textured hair look like me and her, when we already know that textured hair is most certainly on people of various complexions. So Diane Da Costa, she is like heading this whole, you know, movement up to get more education. And you guys already know how I am, right? I am always out here. As a matter of fact, it's no big secret. It ain't even no big secret. I was so into the education of textured hair, my little crazy butt that went down to the State Board of Cosmetology and act a fool like DMX up in here. And like, what are y'all doing with this education trying to, you know, lower the standards? That I'm just like appalled. Like, I'm taking it personal, you know what I'm saying? So you guys know that I'm an advocate for education, but she's on a whole nother level, you know what I'm saying? She's on a whole nother level with her book. She has a campaign. I mean, this lady ain't playing. She's doing stuff. I went door to door because when I did mine, there was no such thing as Instagram, and all we had was Facebook. And so I surely didn't know anything about how to use these platforms to help, you know, further, you know, my initiative. So I literally went from door to door. But she also has a degree in marketing. So this is a person that you really, really want to hear from. I'm just going to be on a live like what she said, you know, what she said. So I'm going to be co-signing. And she's really going to answer your questions. I see we have some hair people in the chat. So what's up? Loft 83. We got hair underscore therapist. I know for a fact, let there be life. Dang, I'm loving that, because that's what I'm talking about, is letting your career have some life. But we need to unite and support one another. My whole career has been about supporting cosmetologists. As a matter of fact, I didn't even want to be a hairstylist. I want to be everybody's friend. Y'all know me, and I just really want to help people out. But I figure, how can I tell you to be educated if I don't have my education? So I kind of flipped that script a little bit. And you got to represent. You can't tell people to have education in cosmetology and you don't have yours, whether it's 1,800 hours or 700. Licensed cosmetologists the education of cosmetology needs more education. And that is what this beautiful, educated, highly passionate, young lady is saying, that we need to have more education about textured hair. Now, I have a gentleman here with me, and I call him my super duper fine ass model. I'm from the hood. We grown folks up in here. This man looks really good. I ain't gonna put him on blast, but y'all can tell by his profile. Ain't nothing about him ugly. And I'm not ashamed, to talk about who looks good and everything, because I work in the beauty industry. And so when you work in an industry where beauty is all around you, you just magnify it, you celebrate it, you brag about it, and especially when the beauty is emanating from the inside, then it comes out. Hey, this is the career of all careers, because we see beauty with more than just our eyes. We feel it. So I'm sure you can tell by his profile, the complexion of his skin, his hair, that this is a very healthy man, and he definitely is emanating a lot of beauty. So I'm not flirting. Don't be coming after me with that Me Too stuff, like, don't you being inappropriate. I'm not being inappropriate. I'm just, as my mother say, I'm telling it like a T.I. is. The man is fine, okay? All right, okay. So let's hop right into, what's up, Adam? We got a brother in the chat. What's up, Prada Thing? What's up, Prada Thing 2.0? I'm thanking y'all so much for joining me this afternoon. I really wanted you guys to join Diane Da Costa and I tomorrow at 1 o'clock. I'm going to be going live in a couple more hours. I'm doing a color service later on, just to really promote this, what we're talking about. So we want to have some support for you guys, and we want you guys to support us as well. And so today I thought I would use a male model, because all the times it's always about, girls, girls. So today we needed to do something different. And if you follow me on Instagram, you probably have seen my supermodel. I like to use him a lot, not because he looks so good, but his hair is the type of hair that a lot of men are aspiring to have. We're talking about either you want the tight fade, a good haircut. Maybe you want it long. Maybe you're turning salt and pepper. Maybe you want to embrace your salt and pepper. And maybe you have some issues, some concerns about thinning or balding. So he's got everything that a lot of brothers are concerned about when it comes to their hair. So I like to use him because he's an all-in-one, you know what I'm saying, super duper handsome thing, all right? So we're going to use his hair and his scalp to drive in why you should join us tomorrow when it comes to working with textured hair. If you're working with textured hair and your career is not exactly where you want it to be, I don't understand why I don't have the people in my chair, my books. People are canceling. People are referring me like, who sent this? You know what I'm saying? Like, what did I do to deserve this, God? Maybe you're struggling with how much to charge. That's something that a lot of people, that's a struggle. It's a professional struggle. It's not funny. People are really concerned with, am I charging too much? Am I charging too little? Let's not forget about just overall job satisfaction. Are you disgruntled in some capacity? Do you just wish for something more in your career, maybe something less? Is this the clientele? Are the people who's sitting in your chair, are they a reflection of what you really went into this industry for? Or are you just coming up with a lot of people who just keep showing you images on Pinterest? Like, I want this, I want this, I want this. And you're like, Anywhere on my posters that say I'm a magician, you know, hit the heart button if you know what I'm talking about. People come in and you're like, you know, my name is just Loft 83 Beauty Bar. What? My name ain't David Copperfield. What you doing, lady? You know, what you doing, bruh? So we want to, Diane and I, we want to be here for you. Now, of course, there are other professionals who are at the height of their game on different levels. So we're going to talk about all of that tomorrow. Pricing, you know, how do you present yourself? How do you work from your passion? As a matter of fact, my supermodel and I, we were talking about that as we were talking about DMX. So we know we're going to miss him a lot, but his music definitely does live. But we also know that DMX, you know, has some struggles in life. You know, with his upbringing, you know, it's just a struggle. And so what I was saying to him is that, you know what, in reality, you know, when it comes to doing something that's from your passion, because my parents, they struggled with standing in their authentic space. Growing and flowering and blossoming. And let's not forget about, you know, failing, you know, dogs pissing all on you and cars rolling all over your grass. You see what I'm saying? But you still got to come through, because that's what nature teaches us. We see trees going through storms. We see dogs pissing on flowers and, you know, pooping on them and all kinds of stuff, you know, rats and just everything. People dying right on top of that blade of grass. But you know what? The grass still comes through. So we know that trying to come through your career is your authentic space at that moment. It can be very, very, very challenging, because it's so much dynamics that goes into, you know, being your dynamic self. And that's what he and I was talking about. And what did you say after I said, you know, working from your dynamic space? What did you say after that?
I said that is so beautifully well put.
He said, go ahead, keep going.
No, it's just, I just thought that was beautiful.
He thought that was just beautifully well put. And that's what Diane Da Costa and I, that's what we're going to be telling you guys tomorrow. We want everybody who watches us, who listens to us, maybe you have her book, maybe you have our book. We're not trying to push these things. Maybe you have another book, another, you know, something. We want everyone to know that there is a place that you have in this life that's dynamic, and that there's a lot that goes into dynamic. But we're not talking about dynamic only in the sense of what, you know, superstardom, or you got 1 million followers, or you got 8 people watching you on Instagram. We're talking about whatever you think. You're already dynamic. But we need more people to do what? Remind you. We need you to connect. So when you feel anything less than dynamic, you know what? I'm about to go on Instagram and I'm just going to see what's, I'm going to read a book. Whatever you want to do to stay in your space of dynamic. Maybe you had a fall down in your dynamic growth, but you know what? That's okay. And so when you're working with people and you're trying to be dynamic, you know what's really going to help you sometimes? Technology. And so today, I'm just going to give you guys a little sneak peek. Now, tomorrow we may not have a lot of time to go into this, but if you are a professional and you are working with natural hair, now this is all about natural hair. So we're going to say this: if it grows from the scalp, it's natural. One of the things that we don't want to see happen, and it happens to me all the time, I cannot tell you how many times I've attended and I've been asked to speak professionally at natural hair events, only to be shunned because my hair was straight, my hair has color in it, you know, my hair is white, you know, my skin is a little more brown, you know what I'm saying? And then my hair, where's your fro, girl? Where your curls at, girls? Trust me. I got curls, you know what I'm saying? I fried them all out, but you know, but my hair is still natural. So one of the things we want to make clear, that number one, we don't discriminate. We don't want people to think that this texture of hair that we see on my supermodel is only on people who look like he and I. That's number one. Number two, if you alter it, in the case that I have, this is altered. This is not, ain't nothing natural about this beauty, okay? Ain't nothing natural about this either. This is not his natural hair. We've altered it into what? Locks. Okay, we've straightened mines out. We've put color in it, but it's still our natural hair. So we're talking about that global sense of natural hair. And so when you're working with that fabric, I'm gonna say technology using something as simple as a microscope is a dynamic. Remember, this live is all about, how do I flower? How do I blossom? How do I just get my backyard boogie on? How do I get my ex gonna give it to you? Gonna give it. How you gonna get my love gonna give it to you? How you gonna get my Adam gonna give it to you? How you gonna get my, what's your name? Sable gonna give it to you. How do you give that to them in your authentic space? Use technology. Technology is good because when it comes to thinning hair, people really think it's something that's with aging. And it is true. Don't deny the science. The science teaches us that as we age, our ass is gonna shrivel. No doubt about it. I got an underwire bra on for that reason because the boobs done shrivel, okay? So does hair. And so, but people can see shriveling boobs, but for whatever reason, they just don't get the whole shriveling hair. But a microscope, when you're talking about how do I work in that dynamic space, a microscope can have the same effect on getting your message across to your customers like sagging boobs does without an underwire bra. Now, I ain't saying you gotta wear an underwire bra. I am, okay? All right, y'all stop laughing at me, okay? So here we go. So you're gonna use your microscope, okay? Now, it's just me and him. We're in here by ourselves. It's the pandemic, so we can't, I don't have a tech person. But again, I am working in my authentic dynamic space. So you know what your mama tell you, right? Work what your mama gave you. So all I have is this camera. I have this handsome man here who's being a model, and I have a computer, and I have you guys. Could it be better? Of course. Of course it could be better. But this is what Diane and I, we're going to be talking to you guys about tomorrow. Be dynamic anyway. Because how many other cosmetologists or people who are aspiring to work with natural hair is on live using a what? A microscope. Not many. So why don't you join me? Why don't you join me and you do it your own way? So when it comes to helping people understand what's happening when your hair thins, number one, we have science on our side. This is why Diane is pushing for education for textured hair, a lot more for cosmetology in the state of New York. And y'all already know, just look at my feed. I'm like, say no to Senate Bill 133. Why? Because they're trying to eliminate education. And I'm showing you that this right here is more education. Imagine your client came to you and he or she said, my hair is thinning. And you're explaining to them that thinning is a natural progression as you age. Hair goes through 3 growth cycles: adagen, catagen, telogen, and the newly found exogen, if you want to go there, okay? This is science. This ain't no, I'm an anti stages of development. This ain't coronavirus, damn it. Don't come in our industry with I'm anti-education. We're not having it because we have science that teaches us there is an actual stage or growth of development that each and every single strand of hair goes on your entire body. Not just your head, but I'm not putting this on his private areas. I'm just kidding, guys. So we're gonna put this on his scalp so that he can see what's happening. And so we know that culturally, a lot of people they have certain practices in their cultures. Now, you don't want to use the microscope to offend people. You don't want to use the microscope to talk down to people. You most certainly don't want to use the microscope to be like, I told. No, we want to use the microscope to exact that science. So now he's not thinning. So what I would do is I would say, look at the camera. And so he's looking at the camera. Okay, you can turn it. Let me turn it. Okay. So I want him to feel comfortable. I don't want him to think that I'm about to show him that, look how nasty your hair is. No, because we got soap and water for that. So when they say, I don't want to see it because I know my hair is dirty, it's okay, boo. You in the beauty salon. You're in the barber shop. You're in the natural hair loft. You're with Prada Thing. You're with Adam. You're with Hair by C Master Scrap. You're with the hair therapist. You're in the right place to have dirty hair because we got all the soap you need to get that off. So that's going to automatically make them feel what? A hell of a lot more comfortable. So the microscope, you can just use this technology to talk to them. And you heard what he said? He said, wow. And that's what you want to do. Let's wow our customers in this space called natural hair. Because the natural hair community is all over the place. And that's okay. We ain't trying to, put a tassel on it and put it around the neck and rear it in. No, we want to be on the pulse of the people who are looking for what we have to offer. And when you join Diane and I tomorrow, we can go into this in a lot more detail. Get your questions ready. Type them in the chat. Be prepared to DM us because we only have so much time on the Instagram platform. But again, we're going to be like X. What? Those going to give it to you. Going to give it to you. So we're going to give it to you as best as we can in honor of our dearly departed brother, DMX, okay? And y'all already know I'm a hip-hop head, so I cried on DMX. I ain't going to tell no lie, okay? So here, I can show him what's happening with his scalp by way of using the science of the follicle. So the microscopes have adjustments. Now you can get these on, I think, anywhere. Go online and just put in microscope. We had ours from our distributor, Deca, but you can go online and just Google the stuff. I can't think of one off the cusp, but they're very affordable. Talk about under $50. And you can just raise the price $1. You can charge for these consultations. I do mine for free. And I do mine for free because I know that a lot of Black people have never really had the experience of love over their head scientific style, because I'm a nerd, ain't that right, Adam? Adam will tell you, Ladosha, she read too many damn books. You know what I sleep with at night? I don't sleep with no men, I sleep with books. Okay, so I love to read. So everybody knows this about me. It's no big secret. I'm a nerd. I'm a hip hopper. Hip hoppers are nerd, okay? Hip hoppers can't rap if they don't read a lot. Because you gotta read, to be able to spit them lyrics, you gotta know some things or been through some things. And I've been through some things, I know some things, but I can't rap. Yeah, you can tell I love to read.
Because of your vocabulary.
But he said you can tell I love to read because of my vocabulary. I don't know about all that. All right, if you guys are enjoying this, come on and hit the heart button so we can get some more people in the chat before we get off. So again, to those of you who has just joined me, I got my homeboy Scrap is in the house, and Scrap can tell y'all he helped grow me in my career. When we talk about standing in that dynamic space, this is what Diane Da Costa and I were going to be talking about tomorrow live on Instagram. I think that's at 1 o'clock. You guys going to join us, and it's all about helping people who want to grow in their natural hair career. So they are people who they work with natural hair. Now, in some states, you do not have to be licensed to work with natural hair. So we're not about putting people down who are not licensed. Let me just make this abundantly clear, because every state in America does not require people to work with natural hair to have a license. So in Ohio, you have to work in a salon, and then it's called a boutique license, and then you have to continue your education and get CEU. So it varies from state to state. So if you're not licensed, Do not let that stop you from coming to get education, because remember, this is what Diane is doing. This is her passion, and it is mine as well, but she's got it from another angle, okay? So here we go. So we can use this microscope to show him, to discuss the follicle. And the follicle is really, really important. And when you're working in your dynamic space, if you use the language that's here for us, like the scientific language, don't just say scalp and your hair growing out of your pores. No, guys, come on, let's use the language, because remember, that's growing in your dynamic, authentic space. The science is here for everybody to use. Now, how you want to deliver it varies. So Dr. Fauci talks about the coronavirus totally different, from when I went to go get my first vaccination. The military don't talk about the coronavirus the way Dr. Fauci does, but the science is the same. They're both going to use it. They're just going to talk about it differently. So don't worry about if you're going to be as technical as the next person, but just use the science. And we know that it would be. We are taught. And natural hair people, a lot of them don't know this. This is why we want them to be educated. That it is the mouth of the follicle, all right? It's going to be the mouth of the follicle that's going to determine his texture. So now we can invite other people who are not the same complexion as us to join us in the education for people with what? Natural hair that's growing from the scalp. So I can move this little mouse around and he can see what I'm talking about. I can also talk about the scalp being a microbial habitat. This is just science. We ain't trying to scare people and, if you don't buy the right hair care products, if you don't get into my club for, balding men, come on, you can do that, but not just yet, not just yet. Let's just use the science to go over all of this stuff. So the scalp is a microbial habitat. That means it has its own bacteria, its own fungus. It's got all kind of microorganisms. So you don't want this scalp to not be clean, especially when you have, the locks jumping off, any hair. But the locks is really going to be important because it has a different level, because the hair is growing out of the scalp, but when you lock it, you're constantly twisting it back down. So we don't want to encourage people with locked hair to not clean their hair. Now, does it have to be soap and water? Well, that's a whole nother conversation, you know what I'm saying? So we got a whole lot of ways we can clean hair without using soap and water. So again, use your authenticity. Use your passion to guide you in how you want to work with your customers who have what's now being called natural hair. And if you want to get to that next level, I'm encouraging everybody, let's use some good old-fashioned technology, why rely on the eyes? The eyes will see what they want to see. If I looked at his scalp from here, I would say, it don't look too bad. It look all right. He ain't paying me for all right. No, he's paying for me for right. I don't want all right. Don't start on the fence with me, sweetheart. Is it right or is it wrong? Well, upon further inspection, he just needs some soap and water. See, he said he needed a lot of work, but I have the education, I have the knowledge to do what? Bring them all the way down. Come on, bro, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? And nothing's wrong with the scalp except for it's time to be washed. Now, when we see a lot of fibrin, a lot of flakes, and we want to use our what? Use our scientific terms. Don't say something like, Dad, you got all that dandruff on your scalp. We're not doctors. We can't be telling people they have dandruff. We know we're not trained to say that. We know we're not. Well, everybody else said, well, you know what your mama said about that. And everybody jump off the bridge, you gonna go with them? So just because you hear other licensed cosmetologists or natural hairstylists saying you have dandruff, that don't mean you should say it. We have a term for it. It's called flakes or fibrin. Dandruff is a medical terminology. We're not dermatologists. So let's just stay in our lane and let's use the science. Let's use the technology, the microscope, to help us, have fun and being our authentic, dynamic selves, okay? So if you guys have any questions, go ahead on and drop some in the chat as I wrap this up. I'm gonna also, I can use this microscope to also show him the integrity of the outer layer of his cuticle. This microscope is pretty cool. I think it magnifies, what does it say here? 10,000 times. That's a pretty cool magnification. So you're gonna get about 10,000 magnification if you use this one. Now remember, there's so many. Don't break the bank. Don't break the bank. And you know what? You can hook these up to your phone. Yes, if you're like, I don't want to have a laptop in my loft or in my salon, you ain't got to. Remember, I'm a nerd, you know what I'm saying? So I'll be going, oh, a little extra, But you can hook these up to your phone, your tablet, they have them wireless, I don't buy the wireless ones because I'm cheap, but I'm a Scorpio. I'm cheap, okay? All right, so they have them in all different ways. So I can also show him the outer protein layer. That's your cuticle layer. And again, this is language that we use all the time professionally. So you can use that to help, grow in your space as a person who wants to specialize, or you want to elevate your game, your language. You want to be a better servant, to your customer, or be of service. Maybe you really do want to sell more hair care products. Maybe you really do want to get more bookings. After all, in the beauty industry, we have our 3 R's that we consider why we should just come through the door. Number 1, that's retention. Number 2, it's retail. And then number 3, of course, it's referrals. That's the only reason why we show up. I'm just gonna keep it 100. Now our motivation, it varies from person to person. Maybe you want to use the microscope, for one of those 3 things. Whatever you want to do, it's up to you, okay? So what I'm asking everybody to do, there is a post, on my feed and also on Diane Da Costa's feed. How about you guys help us out? Can you repost this on your social media if it won't mess up? I have a grid on mine, so I like to do everything in 3s. So if it won't mess up your grid too much, if you think it will, just post it 3 times, and you can copy and paste the hashtags, and let's help promote Diane and I. This is again Diane Da Costa, and she is the author of Textured Tresses. She is also the founder of Simply, that's 2 E's, Beautiful, and she is a textured hair expert herself, and she is out of New York, is in the house, all right, Shun? Okay, so join us tomorrow at 1 o'clock, and we're gonna be live on Instagram. I'm gonna come back later on this evening. Maybe I'll even come back as I begin to talk about, maybe I'll pick another topic and come back so I can get my 3 videos in a row, because I'm a little anal, you know what I'm saying? Okay guys, I hope you have enjoyed this, and you guys stayed with me, so I take it you really liked it. So I really appreciate you for standing with me in my authentic space of dynamicism, of being dynamic Ladosha, aka Key Lolo, okay? So thank you guys for joining me. My supermodel, he thanks you as well for, joining us together, all right? He said thank you guys, and y'all have a wonderful afternoon. We'll see you a little bit later, and you know what I say when I'm always signing out, right? I'm talking about a whole lot of peace, a whole lot of love, and most certainly a whole lot of hair. But guess what? If you ain't got no hair, don't want no hair, can't stand hair, as a matter of fact, you plan on cutting the stuff all off, but you still like watching hair porn? You know what I say? Don't worry about it. Just rub your beautiful, beautiful bald head. Why, Rashida? Because bald heads are beautiful too. Thank you guys. See you a little bit later. Woo, I'm so dope. X gonna give it to you. Gonna give it to you. X gonna give it to you.